From the studios of Community Media in partnership with the Gettysburg Times, this is Community Focus. A look at what's happening in and around Adams County. Today is going to be mostly about sports in Adams County, and I'm sure you're looking forward to that. I'm Gerry, I'll be your host today, and I'm joined by Andy Andrews, editor of the Gettysburg Times, and by Josh Martin, our sports writer for the Gettysburg Times. So here we go in our whole sports focus today. So, Josh, these questions are mostly for you, I think. With the SCAC adding 3 new schools and realigning divisions, how does that impact our local football teams?
Yeah, Gerry, things are jumbled quite a bit. The York Adams has become the SCAC with the addition of Big Spring, James Buchanan, and Shalom Christian schools coming in, 2 of those 3 playing football. So that caused a massive reshuffle in all of our sports. Looking at that directly at football, we get a lot of movement. New Oxford is jumping from Division II to Division I, so they're moving up to face the likes of Central York, Dallastown, the larger schools, William Penn, the larger schools in the York area. Bermudian Springs jumps up from Division III to II. They're going to join some larger schools, and then that leaves our locals such as Littlestown, DeLone, Biglerville, Hanover in Division III. So a lot of intrigue with that this season because New Oxford is coming off they've won 25 division games in a row in York too. So a ton of success for Coach Warner and his crew, but now they're going to be stepping up a class. I think they can certainly handle that, but it'll be different opponents, bigger schools. Likewise for Bermudian, they've been the Division III kings for a while.
All decided by school size?
Traditionally, it had been school size, and now they factored in some other components. There was a success formula where they looked at your success rate the last 5 years. There was some geography considered in there. So it went from just size to a number of components.
Okay.
And that it leaves the door open, I think, because
who makes those decisions?
There was a committee involved with the York Adams, or I should say the SCAC. We're gonna have to get used to saying that. There was a committee involved, and it spanned all sports. So we'll see it in the winter and the spring as well, not just the fall.
They evaluated all these things and decided certain schools need to be in certain divisions.
Yeah, and it'll be readdressed every 2 years. So they'll recalibrate, and there's going to be a lot of shuffling. So just about the time we get used to it, we're going to shuffle the deck and put it all back out again.
Nice. Wow, that's amazing. So Gettysburg has a new head coach for the first time in more than a decade. What can we expect to see from the Warriors this year?
A lot of transition at Gettysburg. And I understand high school sports are as cyclical as anything, graduating classes, things like that. But Matt Heiser left after a 14-year run, went to Manheim Central. He left over the summer. So that was a big, big change. You had a lot of coaching stability, and now that's out the window. But they do have a lot of continuity. Jake Johnson steps in, and they were able to retain their assistants en masse. So their assistants stayed. But the transition...
Where's Jake from?
Fairfield. Had some experience with Fairfield. Okay. Was briefly named their head coach, stepped down before coaching there, came over to Gettysburg. I think that continuity with the assistants is going to help. But the turnover at Gettysburg goes beyond Coach Heiser. His son, Brady, graduated 2 years ago, one of the most prolific passers in program history, gone. Preston Burnett, one of the most prolific running backs in program history, graduated last year. So they're looking at a lot of transition. They lost a lot of their top wideouts. A lot of transition. They're also in the Colonial now in the Mid-Penn. They're our only team that's in the Mid-Penn Conference. So they have some different opponents coming up this fall. So a lot of new things for Gettysburg. The tradition at their program is going to be enough to carry them through, and they always have a lot of talent, but they're a really intriguing team this fall.
Gettysburg?
Yeah, I just see how they handle all of
They've always been tough.
Newness. Yeah.
Tough for a while, right?
Yeah, a lot of tradition, and I think they're going to do well. They had a lot of success under Coach Heiser. The one thing that has eluded them that I'd like to see, they haven't had a playoff win. I think they've lost their last 7 playoff games. So it's been a while for...
Are they Division II?
They're in the Mid-Penn Colonial, so they're away from the SCAC team. So we have our other 5 teams in the SCAC, and then Gettysburg is our lone Mid-Penn Conference team, which is kind of a challenge in the fall.
Yeah, that sounds challenging.
But no, they're going to be fine. I mean, quarterback Grant Johnson last year threw for nearly 2,000 yards, 17 TDs. He rushed for 6 touchdowns. So he's a dual threat type of kid. So if you have a good quarterback in place, like a college or a pro team, you can build around. So I think Gettysburg will be fine, but it will be interesting to see how they handle all this change.
Okay. Who are some of the top returning statistical leaders this season?
And like I said, change being a constant in high school. We lost a lot of really, really talented kids last year. Lane Hubbard from Bermudian, Aiden Hoffman from Biglerville, Preston Burnett, as I mentioned. Here in New Oxford, Braden Billman, Brody Holmes, outstanding players. Braden was a Big 33 player. He's going to Cornell to play football and run track. I mean, that's outstanding. So we lost a lot of talent, but there's always talent coming back. Grant Johnson from Gettysburg, as I mentioned, nearly 2,000 yards passing and 13 TDs. Brody Parr up at Biglerville had a really good debut as a quarterback, missed some time with injury, but still threw for 1,000 yards. So he's one of our top returning offensive players. DeLone Catholic, who I think is going to have a bounce back year. Colin Redding is our top returning rusher, nearly 800 yards last year, and he led the area in scoring with 96 points. And defense, we always talk about the offensive guys. We sort of never give the defensive guys their due, but Bermudian Springs has a hammer in Cameron Hackman. He was the Division III defensive player of the year last year as a sophomore, which is unbelievable. Over 100 tackles, stats across the board. So nice to see the defensive guys get a little bit of press. But Cameron Hackman, one of our better players coming back in the area. So it'll be interesting to see because, again, we lost a lot of talent, but that just opens the door for other kids to step in and have their time.
How about returning statistical leaders in the other sports?
We have some of the DeLone Catholic state semifinal run in girls volleyball. What a program! Carly Lair came in and led that led the Squirettes back to states. They've been a powerhouse on the district level for decades, various coaches, and they returned some talent for sure. They're going to be a top team. Bermudian Springs as well. Great battles last year with Bermudian and DeLone in the league. They play each other twice a year. Amazing matches. So that's some fantastic stuff. We have field hockey. District 3 is an absolute hotbed across the state for field hockey, and we've got some really strong programs. Littlestown leads the way for us locally. Sarah Lawyer, great job she's been doing. They've won 4 or 5 division titles in the last 5 or 6 years. Her daughters are both up. They have a slew of talented kids coming back. They're putting players on the college level, which is neat to see as well. You like to see some of our local kids go on and do some things past high school. Sarah and her staff are doing a great job at Littlestown. It's not just football. The fall is the busiest season by a country mile, and we've got a lot of great storylines coming across the board.
What are the playoff prospects for area teams hoping to qualify for the District 3 tournament?
Sure. New Oxford, first and foremost, like I said, they're riding a 25-game division winning streak. They snapped a bit of a drought. They hadn't won a playoff game since 19.
Football.
Yeah, in football. Jason Warner and his crew, they got it done last year. They got over that hump. They got their playoff win. I think the Ox is absolutely going to be back in the 5A mix, even with moving up to
Even
Division
though they're moving up, that's pretty tough.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a challenge, but I think they've seen it coming. I think they're ready for it. They're prepared.
Okay.
Bermudian Springs, I certainly think will be back in the 3A mix they were last year. Coach John Lavelsberger, they've just, he picked up from where Coach Defoe, one of the best coaches in my opinion in our area. Coach Defoe moved on. Coach Lavelsberger moved in, and those guys have been really strong. So I think Bermudian. 2 other teams, DeLone Catholic took a step back last year, and I think Corey Zortman would say as much. They took a big injury to their quarterback to start the year, and that's hard to recover from. They had to move a lot of pieces around. Their best receiver played quarterback for a part of the year, and just a lot of things had to get shuffled around. So if healthy, I think DeLone is certainly a player in 1A. And a really intriguing team, I think, is Biglerville. They could not have had a worse start to the season last year. They came out of the gate 1-5. Just everything that could have gone wrong, be it injuries, miscues, missed opportunities, it went wrong. But once they righted the ship, they went 4-0 in their last 4 games and outscored their opponents, something like 148-18 or something along those lines in those last 4 games. They narrowly missed the playoffs, but they returned their quarterback and I believe their entire offensive line. So I think Biglerville is a really sneaky team in the District 3A race. So I think we're going to have, if I had to guess now, I would say 4 teams of our 6 make the playoffs. That's my prediction.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. What games have you circled as must-see for the coming season?
Right out of the gate. This is
You're choosing from all this stuff.
yeah.
How do you choose?
Yeah, local matchups are always the best to me. I've felt that way forever. And week 1 is amazing in that we get Gettysburg, New Oxford, and Biglerville, Bermudian. I mean, 2 fantastic local matchups. Week 1. That is what a way to kick off the football season. Yeah. Usually Biglerville and Berm play week 6, week 7, something like that. But those 2 open with each other. And Gettysburg, New Oxford's always a really intriguing game. Right up the road from one another. That can be a fantastic rivalry if it develops, and I think it can. So I love week 1. I think that's great. Anytime we get locals to play each other, I love that. Bermudian is just doing a county tour here to start the season. They're going to open with Biglerville, then New Oxford, then Littlestown. So that's fantastic for local fans. You can get these local programs in your first 3 weeks. I love that. New Oxford and Southwestern, I've been doing this for a long time. That's always a game I look forward to. I think that's another neat rivalry with the Ox and the Mustangs. They get back at it together because they're in the same division now this year. Yeah. And I also like Gettysburg Shippensburg. I think that's another rivalry that could develop. They play each other. So a lot of games like that. The local are the most intriguing to me. And fortunately, we still have a lot of that.
Right. So we're used to Friday night lights in the fall, but do we need to add Thursday night lights to the schedule because of the new?
Sadly, yes. A few years ago, an officials shortage we started to see Thursday night football games pop up, which is really unusual. Everybody equates Friday night football to high school ball. Yeah. But that official shortage caused some Thursdays here and there. This year we have 3, which is unusual. Usually you have 1, maybe 2. But Biglerville is going to be at Anvil Cleona week 2. Then we're looking at DeLone hosting Big Spring on week 5, and the Ox hosting Penn Manor in the last week of the regular season. And those Thursday night games are interesting because as a player, you have your rhythms for the week, and as a coach as well, you have your rhythms. You build to Friday. Everything culminates in that Friday night. There's 4 quarters on Friday. And then we reset and we build again. And when you're shortening even by a day, now we're building to a Thursday. It's also, we have school the next day. That's a weird thing for kids. Hey, I play on Friday night. We have the weekend after my game. Oh, I have school tomorrow morning. It's such an unusual situation. And I'm sure coaches are prepared for it and are adjusting their practice plans and things.
Any other day to consider?
Yeah, it's these Thursdays are not ideal at all. And I don't think anyone would
about Saturday
gladly sign up. We do have some Saturdays, but a lot of the officials as well, if they're guys who do college ball, then they're booked on Saturdays.
I see.
So those Friday night officials going the other way into Thursdays, likely the only option.
A little better.
And also at the end of the year, you're playing on a Thursday. That's one less day to recover, and you're kind of beat up by week 6, week 7, week 8. Yeah. So for players, that's one less recovery day. So it's not ideal for anyone. Now the benefit is, hey, if you play on Thursday, you get that win, you bank it. We have an extra day to rest. So that's the prize.
Okay, so what can readers expect to see as far as high school football coverage from the Gettysburg Times this season?
As much as possible. We're going to try and get out, as we always do, and cover as many games as we can. Friday nights are a big deal for us, and we love having a Saturday section that's stuffed with local results, especially football season. Daryl Wheeler, anybody knows Daryl, has been doing this. I've been doing this forever, and Daryl's been doing it longer than me. Yeah, we need a couple Daryls. He's an amazing photographer. He gets all those great pictures on those Friday nights. Tremendous staff, unbelievable staff of guys. Ed Riggs, Jeff Cook, Scott Pitzer, Ryan Vandersloot, Tom Six is full-time writer. I mean, we have a great staff of guys. So we're going to get out and cover as much as we can. We maybe have an ace up our sleeve this year as far as you mentioned there's not enough Daryls. We might have something on board to add to the coverage. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, game stories, statistical leaders each week, recaps, notebooks, previews, as much as we can on football because folks just can't seem to get enough of it.
So what are the other major sports? Football is huge just because of the size of the crowds.
Yeah.
But what are the other major sports that draw a lot of people and kids are involved in? Yeah,
this is the heavy season by and large. We have boys and girls soccer. I mentioned field hockey, District 3, strongest district, in my opinion, in the state for field hockey. Girls volleyball, golf, boys and girls cross country, Girls tennis. If there's a sport, it's played in the fall. It seems they cram a lot of sports into the fall. So really interested to see, like, as I mentioned, Delone and Bermudian, fantastic in girls volleyball. I think there are big things ahead for them. We've got, L-Town leading the way with field hockey, but a lot of other strong programs. We always have really good boys and girls soccer programs. Fairfield's got a great history with the girls side. Gettysburg boys have been really strong for a long time. Cross countries are in strong. Ed Riggs covers cross country like no one in the state. We've got a lot of good runners. Again, Ox has a fantastic runner coming back on the girls side. We have a district tennis champion in Biglerville, in Peyton Plank, so she's going to take another run, try to get back to states, win another district title, and see if she can get to the top of that mountain.
Great.
So we have storylines in literally every sport. So it's a lot to cover. It's going to be a fun, wild time because there are so many events on any given night in the fall.
There's a lot of those. You got your work cut out for you this fall for sure.
Yeah, we kind of call it bad math. It's good and bad when you have a very limited number of writers and space and time, and you have seemingly an unlimited number of games. So you just have to find a way to make the two mesh, and we're going to do our best to get as much as we can out there.
Good. Well, I appreciate your work there. That's really, really important stuff. And
thank you.
We look forward to reading it all. So that brings us to our cover stories for the year. We have some cover stories to talk about. On the 8th of this month, we had a scoop on the filming of a new film coming out called Killed It. How do you say that? Resaca?
Resaca. I wanted to, first of all, before we proceed, I wanted to offer my thanks, supreme thanks for a fantastic job that Josh and Tom do.
Thank you.
I think they're miracle workers. I really do believe that there's miracles going on between them and Daryl. Daryl's a celebrity. Daryl's in a league of his own when it comes to what he's doing.
An amazing guy.
But he is amazing, and he is a center. And I'll mention it many times because the centerpiece story, the centerpiece feature pictures on the front page are Daryl. Daryl makes up a lot of the front page each issue. Every issue of the Gettysburg Times. So getting back to Resaca, August 8th.
Where is Resaca?
Well, we found out, we had a scoop that Richard Franke did this story on the Resaca filming, independent filmmaking going on here, and is always welcome, with Gettysburg. So we were able to get out there and get pictures and get a story. And Richard kept telling me, we have the scoop. No one else was there. No other media company was there. So it was great having those contributions from Richard.
Where is Resaca?
It's a new film coming out. I don't have the definition. Is that
a fictional place or is that a real place?
No, it's a real place. It's I think it's a location of a hospital or something.
Okay.
But you have to see the movie. I don't know. They didn't give us a lot of description. They just said we're filming this thing, and Richard just focused on the crew and what they were doing. But yeah, we probably should have gotten a little bit more detail about the actual plot.
Makes for a good cliffhanger.
Yeah. But so we have an issue coming up here. This is interesting. You have to understand that we don't work in terms of start in the morning, finish up the issue in the afternoon, and put it to bed at night every day. There's a lot of things going on ahead of time to promote with things happening in Gettysburg. There's a lot of things going on, post-production. We have to work on the next issue. I'm sometimes working 2 or 3 issues ahead. So it's not like we finish one day and we have one issue and then we're done. I mean, we have to move on to the next issue. This particular one from August 8th was very interesting because what's the definition of a work of art? It's a cute little thing that breaks your heart. This top photo here with Penelope Trail, the little girl, she's such a cute button, and I thought the balloon teddy bear being handed out by the balloon maker, that was a no-brainer for putting that on the cover. That was wonderful. That's a Darrell Wheeler photo as well. I mean, the cover was kind of easy because we have 2 photos of the kids having fun, and we put a red wrap like a birthday present around it. There's also a lot of impactful newsworthy items from Richard and Liz, and it just made it an easy story, an easy page to lay out. Now, some of those are beats, like Richard handles Gettysburg Area School District, and CVSD is handled by Liz. And we had a couple of contributions from, I guess, the Capital Star, or no, it would be the Center Square, which is a syndicate that we pull things from. We pull a lot of items from different syndicates, primarily Pennsylvania, PA Spotlight, Center Square, State Line. There's different places we go to. We can go to other areas as well. So that's how that issue came to be. Oh yeah, this is interesting. It was getting kind of late getting the page done. I was trying to find, and I was panicking. So I went to Daryl. I said, Daryl, what do you have for me for page 1? I don't think we have an issue unless we get some photos in there. So he said, use the car, like cars. It was kind of buried in the list of things we had. So I said, okay, we'll use we'll use the car for the Cross Keys Village, and I believe that in the far left is Joe McGuff, Mike McGuff. He's our contributor to the Founders and Guardians, showing, I guess, his Model T. So that came together along with the fact that we had Liz was putting together a staff report on the Waynesboro Jazz Fest. So if you look beneath that, we had a lady playing a trumpet. And I thought, that makes sense. Why not? Trumpet, old cars. It was perfect. So the issue had a lot of jazz. And I thought we also had some good Center Square and Richard street closure stories. So we had some things that contributed that to as well. Okay, this was interesting. A very stunning cover from July 4th issue. This is by far one of my favorite covers because we have the Gannon photo, Pickett's Charge by Dale Gallen. Dale Gallen Studios sent that, Ann sent that to me, and we thought we'd put that together as part of our coverage of the 3 days of Gettysburg. But any time a page 1 can have the words wounded, haunted, fireworks, and cooling centers, there's got to be a premier issue.
Really? They're great ones. Okay.
I just pulled some sports in case you guys want to talk about it.
Josh, this was all yours.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, we South Penn across the top there. South Penn baseball is kind of what carries us through the summer. It's almost a down period as far as scholastic sports. But the South Penn, it's a men's baseball league, and that's where a lot of our former high school kids go to play. And it's kind of fun to follow them, as the later stages. We've seen them in high school, and now they're coming back and they're playing as college age guys or even older. Cashtown's one of our strongest teams. They made the finals yet again. A lot of local guys from Gettysburg and other Adams County schools on there. So that's always fun. It breaks my heart as a Steeler fan to put the Ravens in the center of the page, but you have to do what you have to do. So we had to get that on there. And I had a column, District 3 Wrestling, a lot of changes coming. Again, change is such a constant in high school sports. There's a lot of changes coming for wrestling season. Wrestling near and dear to my heart, as anyone who knows me knows. And there are a lot of neat things coming up. A lot of interesting things coming up on the horizon for wrestling. Again, with realignment, teams moving up, teams moving down, in and out of different classes, things like that. And in Gettysburg College, we like to keep an eye on those folks. They tab the new coach. Anytime we can get some Gettysburg College stuff in there, we like to do that as well to kind of supplement our scholastic coverage.
Awesome.
And then at the bottom, Greg Zyla, really popular column, Collector Cars. That has really taken off. He's a columnist, and that's where we're able to use his stuff. And great columns, really interesting, a lot of reader feedback. And that's something we like to put in every Saturday as well. So there's Saturday sections with football, with Greg's column. Really looking forward to those. Those are going to be very, very interesting reads.
Awesome.
Then another right on cue, Greg's column there in the center. And then the getting to know. Anytime we have a new head coach in the area, we like to send out a little questionnaire. Hey, here's 20 questions ranging from how did you get into coaching to what's your dream vacation? What's your go-to music? What's your favorite meal? Okay. Just a little getting to know thing to let folks know, hey, so-and-so is the new coach at this school. Here's a little bit about their background, he or she, whatever it may be, and just kind of a neat way to introduce them to the area so folks get to know who these coaches are.
Awesome. There's another one.
Yeah, and then anything with football. Football is a go-to any time of year, I think, especially building up training camp. Everyone has hope, right? We're all undefeated, and we all have shots, even though I know my Steelers have no shot. But even if it's not our locals, Eagles, Steelers, Ravens, anytime we can work some football into the section, that's a good thing. Folks really seem to enjoy it. And then obviously with college too as well, once we get ramped up, Penn State coverage, as much as we can there. Again, as a Pitt fan, it breaks my heart, but I realize it's part of the job to put Penn State in the section. I've had a lot of fun. Most of my writers over the years have been Penn State fans, and I'm the only Pitt fan probably in the county. So it's a lot of fun having some back and forth with those guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So that's a section Tom laid out, and I can tell because Tom is a massive 49ers fan. So when he gets a chance to share anything with the Niners, he's in there. Plus, he's an O's fan. And hey, the O's, tough season, but they're actually in the wild card mix right now in the American League, which is a little bit surprising. Phils are in the mix in the NL, O's in the AL. So right now, baseball playoffs, we're ramping up to that. We're just a few weeks left in the regular season. So hopefully we can get those local teams in, Philly and Baltimore. A lot of fans, a lot of Philly fans, a lot of Baltimore fans in this area. So that's a good thing to get in the section on a nightly basis. Oh, and then obviously the Hall of Fame, that's always of interest. Enjoy that. And we just had so that's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Adams County Sports Hall of Fame just announced their candidates for induction for this year. And I said to Ed Riggs, who heads that up, Ed's part of the Hall of Fame, does a great job. I emailed Ed and said, this is the strongest group of candidates I've ever seen. I mean, we've been doing this for a while. It is an amazing group. I mean, you have folks on there who are like two folks who played in the Big 33 football game. You have President Eisenhower as a deceased candidate. You have the all-time leading goal scorer in girls soccer history in Adams County from Fairfield. I mean, the list is amazing, top to bottom. I don't know how only 5 are going to be chosen in this class, because I think you have 3 classes of worthy nominees in one class. So that'll be interesting. That'll come out in the fall. We'll have that with the Hall of Fame, who's been selected. And then obviously we cover that. Jeff Cook usually covers that, does a great job for us. That's a tough night. You're trying to break down 5 stories for 5 different folks into one story, on a time deadline as well,
right.
Because they all have amazing stories. That's why they're in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff does a great job with that, and we're lucky to have Ed heading that up and on the Adams County PA Sports Hall of Fame. Really look forward to getting that in. But yeah, what a great class of folks this year.
Well, thank you all for being with us today. I appreciate it. For more information on any of the stories we talked about today, check out the Gettysburg Times at gettysburgtimes.com. That's where I read it most times, and love the Gettysburg Times for that. So thank you all for being with us today.
Thanks, Gerry.
Thank you.